Hi, welcome back to the Seven Lakes podcast. I'm your host, Eva, and today we are here with young teachers, and we're going to talk about how they started their career off teaching here at Seven Lakes. Would you introduce yourselves, and what subject do you teach?
I'm Miss Andrews, and I teach AP Pre-Cal.
I'm Mr. Kozak. I teach Cap Algebra 2 and Geometry.
And I'm Coach Palermo, and I teach Algebra 2.
How long have you been teaching both overall and here at Seven Lakes?
This is my second year here at Seven Lakes and my second year teaching.
I started in the middle of the year 3 years ago, so this is my second full year teaching, and I started here at Seven Lakes.
And this is my first year teaching Seven Lakes and overall.
What's one moment from high school that still stands out to you today?
It's less of one moment and more of a series of moments. I was really involved in high school. I did athletics and I did stage management. So basically kind of...
Do you play, what sports do you play?
I was on swim team.
Swim team, okay.
Yeah. So I did that all 4 years and stage managing all 4 years. And so it's just kind of like the building of those things that really stands out is one of the aspects of high school that I remember most is being able to participate in extracurriculars.
I was not that involved in high school. Most of my memories in high school are me goofing off with my friends, to be honest. So, yeah.
I feel like that's what high school is supposed to be, kind of in a way.
For me, it's late arrival, honestly, because I don't have it anymore. I have to be here right at 7 o'clock, so I kind of miss that of being a student and having late arrival, getting to sleep in a little more.
I'm excited for that. I have a late arrival next year, and I'm excited to sleep in and not having to wake up when it's still not even bright outside.
Exactly, yeah.
What was your favorite subject, and did it influence your decision to become a teacher?
I mean, my favorite subject was math, and now I'm a math teacher, so absolutely it did.
Okay.
More so in college, though, than in high school, because I actually switched from being an engineering major. Because when you like math, that's what people tell you to do, is go be an engineer. And so I didn't even consider becoming a math teacher until someone I talked to on my dorm was a secondary math ed major. And I was just like, that sounds way more interesting and way more fun than any career that I could find in engineering that I'm more interested in teaching now. So I switched halfway through my sophomore year to be a math teacher.
So there's still time to kind of like
absolutely
decide what you want to do, and it's not like you don't have to decide in high school.
Yeah, you don't have to lock into anything when you graduate high school. Like you can still make decisions. I mean, it added a year to my degree, but like I'm doing something that I find much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Similar for me, math was my favorite. It's a very loose statement. I wouldn't say in high school I per se liked any subject that much. I just got the grades I got to keep my parents.
I don't think anybody does, really.
Yeah, I just kept the grades up that my parents expected of me, but math was always my favorite because I was very efficiently lazy in high school, so math to me was just always the one where you didn't really have to study quite as much in a way because it was very logical oriented and not really memorization oriented, so you could always use logic to reason your way to an answer.
That's true.
And similarly, I really noticed my love for math. I started to notice I liked it when I took calculus in high school. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty interesting.
Like the problem solving aspect of it, kind of solving it out.
Yeah, and just everything kind of made sense. It felt like in a lot of the previous math classes, you're just kind of like, why am I learning this? Like, this just feels kind of tedious. But then in calculus, it's like everything kind of comes together and you're like, oh, that's why I needed to know how to do all of that. And then I really noticed my love for it. Yeah, in college was 100% where I was like, okay, I do really enjoy math. And similarly, I was also doing engineering initially. Both my brothers did engineering. And when you're good at math, that is what they tell you is like, look into engineering because it is a great career. Mm-hmm. But when I was in, I think it was calculus 2 in college, that's what just made me switch. I was like, nope, I just love math. I just love math in general. And then I started to pursue grad school in math and then decided, I wanted to teach it, whether it was at the high school level, college level, whatever it is. Like, that's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think engineering is also a really huge field as well. So you can basically do almost anything.
Yeah, and that was another part of it. It was so overwhelming to think about all the different careers that you can go to as an engineer. Whereas like a math teacher, I was like, I knew I wanted to teach upper level secondary. There was a major for that, so why not just go do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, similar story with me. From the start of college, I was a secondary education major, though. I wasn't in engineering, but I almost switched to a computer engineering degree from the start because I took a computer science class and really liked it, but that was like the first week of it, and then we got into like more complicated stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna stay where I am. But yeah, junior year of high school is when I kind of like wanted to go into education because of my pre-cal teacher. So, and I actually went to Seven Lakes. So she isn't here now, but I've had some of the teachers that are still here, like Burford.
He's my coach for tennis.
Yeah, so I had Coach Burford for Algebra 2, loved him, and now I teach Algebra 2. And so yeah, it's a cool experience to come back and teach with the people I had as a student.
That's nice. Yeah. What do you think your high school teachers would describe you back then? Like you said, Coach Mr. Burford.
I would say back then I was more of a quiet person, like rule follower, and like didn't want to make any
mistakes.
Mistakes, or I didn't want to be viewed a certain way where I like am like a bad kid, quote unquote. But I would say kind of like just one of the quiet kids that got their work done and kind of got out of there.
Okay.
I went here freshman, sophomore year as well. And since I have first period conference, I actually did ask teachers that I had what they thought of me. And Mr. Lefevre said the way he would describe me back then was I was skinny and needed a haircut, which was true. And then I had heard some other teachers told me I also had Senor Saldana, and apparently he described me as being very creative with my projects, which surprised me. I wouldn't consider myself to be the most well-behaved or good kid in high school, but apparently I was skinny, needed a haircut, and creative. So yeah.
Okay, not bad. That's kind of cool that your teachers were here and now you guys are teaching here. It's kind of like a full circle moment. That's cool.
I did not go here. I am from Houston, and so I went to Episcopal High School in Houston, and it was actually a really smart idea to ask your old teachers. I should have asked mine, but they probably would have described me in much the same way as Coach. I was quiet. I did my work. I kind of kept my head down, but I was really, really involved. So they probably would have described me as busy and stressed because I just had a million things going on.
Like I just saw you doing stuff all the time.
All the time. I was just like, I was working. I was either in the theater, I was at swim practice, or I was just like in the library, just like poring over my homework. And at one point, this is another standout moment. At one point, my physics teacher, who was also my homeroom advisor, had to pull me inside and be like, "Hey, it's okay to make a B."
Or you like really
I was so stressed out making good grades,
and I was like scared to talk to you. Like, "How are you?"
Right? No, like that was probably one of the best bits of advice that I got because it saved me in college because I wasn't as stressed about getting grades as I was about just like making sure that I was performing well enough to keep scholarships, but then also just like to let loose a little bit. Like, don't be as stressed.
Yeah, because you had so many extracurriculars. You had like swim.
Yeah, and theater. Theater and swim. Wow. Like I would do theater in the fall from August until the start of swim season, and then swim season would go until February, and then I would be on the spring musical right after that.
Goodness.
So it was like no break, which was so like multiple teachers had to be like, you're gonna be fine.
Relax, it's okay. Yeah, but I guess you maximized your high school kind of.
I did.
Yeah.
I look back on it and I'm like, I don't know if I could ever do that again. Like, I don't know if I could dedicate that many hours a day to just straight like work and athletics. Yeah. So I'm glad I did it then.
Yeah, you got the experience still, but like never again. How would you compare the high school experience you had? It's kind of similar to other questions, but how would you consider your high school experience to the ones your students are having right now?
Very similar. Y'all are busy, especially in my AP pre-cal classes. Y'all got millions of things going on. So in that way, it's really, really similar. But in another way, it's like it feels so different because there's technology now that we wouldn't have dreamed of being in existence when we were in high school. And it was only, eight years ago-ish?
Yeah. Like you always have your like cool iPad and you're always writing notes and things.
Wasn't a thing. We had... like laptops, and that was pretty much it.
It still surprises me that phones only came out like not too long ago, really, or like in the 2000s, kind of.
The iPhone, what was that? 07?
Yeah, my first one was like the slide phone.
I had that one too. I had that exact phone.
Coolest thing.
Like flipped up and it had the keyboard. I felt so cool.
None of these kids now know it.
Actually, I had a flip phone.
Really?
Okay, I went to DI once, the Destination Imagination. if you guys know about that. Yeah. And we made it to nationals one year. So we had to travel to Nashville, I think Tennessee or somewhere in Tennessee. And my parents, I was still like 5th grade, 4th grade. And at that time, my parents were so scared of letting like a 10-year-old go to a different state with like not random people, but like other people that they weren't too familiar with. So they got me like a little flip phone where you had to click the letter
like
3 times.
Yeah,
you had to wait for a little bit, click it again, wait for it. I need to find that. That was really fun because I'd be like, I have a flip phone.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah. What about you?
I think social media and AI alone have kind of changed the game of education.
Yeah.
For social media, I feel like it puts students today under way more like pressure socially and academically. That said, I also think there's more openness about mental health and seeking help nowadays, which I believe is in the right direction. But the biggest thing I think is different is AI and how much students rely on it, which I don't get, but I guess that's because I'm a very mistrusting person, which is why I majored in math and wanted to prove things myself. I just don't understand blindly trusting something like AI to just do everything for you. But I would say, like I said, AI and social media, but the biggest thing right now I feel like is AI. I just feel like that's totally changed the game, not just for high school, for college as well. Jobs. I just feel like AI is a big factor right now that changes a lot of things.
I mean, I don't think it was something that we even could anticipate in college because it's really only been in the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like it was one of the first things that I think we all got into not knowing about like starting teaching and then something that we had to face like on the job rather than being like our professors being like, hey, this is something that you might see. It's just like,
it just came
here
out.
it is.
I know.
It just came out and was huge, and now it's ongoing, and I sense will be an ongoing problem for probably as long as it's around.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to go away because technology and everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's technology too, because we weren't using Chromebooks. We didn't have it one-to-one. We were kind of still in the period when I was in high school. We would have a computer lab day. So you'd move classrooms just to be on a computer. Testing wise, I feel like that changes the game of like, even like a SAT, you're doing it online now, which I feel like me personally, I would struggle because I have to write things down and
annotating and things.
Yeah, you
right?
get scratch paper, but it's still kind of hard for me to like be in 2 places almost where you can't annotate with a pencil on your screen. You have to like have a scratch paper, which personally I don't like as much as
like your mind is at 2 different places at once.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Where
can't directly translate it.
Yeah.
Well, then also it takes longer because you can't annotate math problems.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have to rewrite the whole problem and then start on it.
Yeah.
And then I've seen kids like they have like a highlight option on like the Chromebook and stuff when they're taking tests, but it's not the same as like having it on paper and underlining it.
Yeah.
So like that's where I think I would struggle if I was a student right now with testing wise.
Same.
Yep. Just real quick, we have a sponsor from Piccolo Snowman. So if you're into Italian ice, creamy ice cream, and boba tea, this place is a must visit. You can enjoy classes like soft serve, ice cream, Calismo, which is like a blend of soft serve and Italian ice, I think. And or their dirty boba affogato. It's the perfect place for refreshing tea with friends, and it's right down the street across Seven Lakes on Fry, so make sure to check that out. By the way, since this month is ending, today's the last day for that last code. You can use 7 Lakes Snowman to get 15% off your order at Piccolo Snowman. So, what's a challenge about teaching that you didn't expect?
We kind of talked about it with AI and technology, but I think the biggest challenge that I got in, like entering the profession, was when I switched my major, because I switched my major in the spring of 2020, which was when the pandemic hit. And so that entrance into teaching was really, really challenging because we were completely shut down. I lost a lot of practical experience. So I didn't get much practical experience until my final year when I was student teaching. And then just dealing with like its effects on students, because we had no idea going in what the lockdown would do to students. We knew that there would be challenges in their learning because they weren't getting that face-to-face instruction. But dealing with that was really, really like stressful, just getting my degree. And then also like knowing that it was going to have an effect for years and years and years after that initial shutdown.
It's like the uncertainty, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially after COVID. I know you guys weren't teaching were you guys teaching during COVID?
No.
No, okay. Because I know that was hard on a lot of teachers.
Yeah.
Because I know I didn't pay attention that much in class during online.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a teacher in COVID. On Zoom, knowing that no one's paying attention, or like
or that
teaching
no one's
to
there.
2 kids.
Yeah. Or it was, I know some kids went back because I remember COVID hit whenever I was in 6th grade, and it continued KVS for my 7th grade. Some people went back for 7th grade in person, but a lot of people stayed online. So the teachers would have like 5 students in their class and like a bunch of kids on Zoom or vice versa. And it was just really, What's the challenge about you guys? Is that the same for you?
Yeah, for sure AI. And then also, I didn't expect to get as emotionally invested in students as you do. It's weird to think about, but you do get emotionally invested in what I would say, like every single student. And I feel like that is a lot emotionally to take on, but because you have hundreds of students, but like you sincerely do get invested in every single one and want them all to succeed. And I feel like it's a lot of stress to put on yourself, but you kind of can't help it. I mean, it's not like you can just be like, oh, just stop caring if they do well or stop caring if they want to pay attention and take notes. You know, it's hard. I feel like that's something I didn't really see. Like, I knew for sure you'd probably get invested in some of them, but I didn't realize that like you really get invested in all of your students emotionally, and I think that is a big challenge.
Yeah, and I also think that's kind of rewarding as well. You get to see them grow as well and be able to kind of see yourself in them sometimes.
Yeah. For me, I think it's entering the profession in general, because student teaching kind of takes a lot out of you and you're not paid for it too. So it's like, it's a full semester, it's your full-time job Monday through Friday, but you don't see $1 come your way. So it's like
you're paying to do it.
Yeah, you pay for the class where the teacher or professor that you have shows up like 3 times or 4 times throughout the semester just to evaluate you. And every once in a while you'll hop on a Zoom and talk to them about your lesson plans or stuff like that. But yeah, student teaching was like, I enjoyed it so much, but it was kind of hard to do as a college student and student teach. It was kind of like you were stuck in the middle, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dedication, I think. It's not just, oh, here's a lesson plan. Here's what we're going to do today. I think y'all put a lot of effort into being emotionally there and just there.
Yeah.
Like teaching wise too. So if you could give your high school self just one piece of advice, based on what you've learned as a teacher, what would it be?
Chill out. Like, it's okay. You're going to be fine. Like, you're still going to go to college even if you don't do everything perfectly. Like, just like ease up on the perfectionism. And that's advice that my teachers gave me as well. And then just also generally speaking, like, you're genuinely going to be okay. And like, I try to tell my students that too. When they're stressed out, I'm like, you are going to be okay. It might not feel like it in the grand scheme of things, but everything will work out, even if it doesn't take you the direct path that you thought you were going to use.
Yeah, I like to think of it like on a more broad, like,
right.
It's okay, like a overall, like I'll be okay on the long run. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Stop worrying so much about having everything figured out. Growth isn't linear, and every stumble you come across will teach you something. You just got to keep moving forward, really.
I think the biggest thing, like for a lot of kids here and for me that I had to learn, was there's other schools other than UT and A&M. So like I didn't like everybody wants to go there, and I wanted to go to one of those, but it just kind of didn't happen because like I was like the average student. I had like a 3.5, 3.6 GPA, just kind of like the typical student. And then I went to college at Texas State is where I ended up going, and there's just other stuff outside of those 2 schools. So I would say for a lot of students,
whole world. Yeah,
exactly. And there's really good schools outside of Texas too. Right. So like, I know a lot of people are stuck on those 2 schools, but just know there's other stuff out there, and that's not the end of the world if you can't get into those 2.
And like, college is what you make of it. Like, you can get a great education anywhere you go in the United States nowadays. Yeah. So like, you just got to find somewhere that you know that you're going to be generally more happy, because that'll just make the experience better, because you can be at like an absolutely fantastic school but then just be miserable. Just college is what you make of it. You can find any good school and you can get a great education at any school, and it's not necessarily going to be like the top school in the US or the top school in Texas. Like, you have to find that balance of, I'm going to really enjoy my time here and I'm going to get the degree that I need. So just know that it's not necessarily about what college you go to, it's about what you make of your experience there.
That's true. Your perspective on everything, that's really important, I think. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. And we have a Cane's $20 gift card giveaway going on right now. All you have to do is follow our Instagram, slhs.podcast, to hopefully win. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.